Good morning, if you can hear me. I'm trying to make sure that this is working. Good morning.
Virginia, who are we voting for?
All right, I think we are hopefully about ready. Good morning. I popped on here about a minute early, so I don't know if I missed anybody saying good morning. I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. Please excuse my My Little Pony towel in the background. I'm planning on getting a little bit messy today, so I wanted to protect my work surface at least a little. This poor butcher block has already taken a beating since it's been in. So good morning. Good morning, Kat and Shannon, Alma and Peggy. Good to see you guys. Today, welcome to Take 10. I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and Take 10 is all about having fun with products, having fun with techniques, just playing in an art journal where we are not worried about a final product. Just getting in, having fun, playing with colors, things like that. So today we're playing with one of my favorite supplies, which we've done a few times, I think, here on Take 10, and that is Distress Oxide Spray. If you are one of my Scrappy YouTube members, you probably have noticed that I have been into Distress Oxide Spray recently. So it's like coming back, and you'll start seeing it on my channel in the next week or so. But I've been really wanting to play with it more, and so that's what we're going to do today, is just kind of play with some different color combinations than I might normally do and just see how it works. So what I have pulled out are Distress Oxide sprays. I have my Take 10 journal, which is an Archer and Olive journal. Good morning. Let's see, I see Missy and Lynette and Terry and Sherry, Vicky and Carol and Brenda and Elena and Lisa and Jennifer. Woo! Good morning. Okay, this is my Take 10 journal. It's from Archer and Olive, and we're gonna just get on with it. I also pulled out, hold on just a second. I have some extra pieces of paper pulled out because it takes a little while for Distress Oxide to dry. I also have my Ranger heat tool to try to get it to dry, and I think we're gonna be ready to go. So I'm gonna set a timer. If you have any questions about Distress Oxide Spray, make sure to drop them in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on replay, so that I can try to answer them. All right, Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, so today we are starting appropriately with carved pumpkin, and what I was really wanting to do with backgrounds today were a little bit different colors. So that's carved pumpkin, and this is spun sugar. And I kind of wanted to layer, and now I want to go with, you know what I want to do? So, oh, hi, that leaked. My goodness. Well, that was not what I wanted to do, but that's okay. We're going to work with it. So I'm going to go ahead and start my Ranger heat tool. Sorry if it bugs you, the sound, but it's the only way to get this done in like 10 minutes. So what I was wanting to do was not necessarily layer these when already wet. When you're layering Distress Oxides, of course, wet on wet is going to blend differently, and what I was hoping for was a little bit more of a layer technique. One of my favorite things to do, we're going to switch to worn lipstick now because I'm just playing with the oranges and the pinks. Ignore all that teal going on. One of my favorite things to do is layer and dry at the same time, if that makes sense. So I just have my heat tool going and play with it from there, because I think you end up with some cool splattering effects when you have the dryer going at the same time that you don't normally end up with otherwise. Okay, we're gonna have this one kind of shift ever so slightly, and we're gonna play on this side with some cool tones. So I don't usually go for brown. just not my favorite. But we're gonna kind of see how we can play with the brown. This is tumbled glass. And then let's get out that patina that was doing its thing a lot earlier. And I think I'm gonna mix in, we're gonna add in some right there. Let's pull this up. Now you see a little bit of pooling, so it's running right here. No worries on that. We're gonna let that kind of do its thing. Distress oxides, when they dry, end up having like a chalky finish, a really soft finish, which I very much like. I don't know if you can see, so right here, I'm gonna try to dry this. You can see them really distinctly mixing. Like you have the teal and then this really cool edge. So this is what I've been into recently, is as it dries, you end up with some pretty cool speckled patterns, is what has been intriguing me recently. And the more and more it dries, that's the reaction. That's the oxidizing that's happening. And it is just so fun to see. Okay, this one is mostly dry. Hold on just a second. I forgot something. Pause. Okay. So another fun way to play with them is you have a lot of it's dry right here, and I'm gonna just come up here. I'm gonna do some really light mist on that side to kind of encourage more oxidation. And then on this side, we're gonna go heavy with the water. And you can see you're gonna end up with two different techniques. I like, again, to use the dryer right away because I like for it to stop. I like for those drops to stop at certain spots because I think that ends up being kind of a cool look. So I tend to aim for the bottom of those drops so that the drips and drops stay there. And I know we've covered this before on Take 10, but you guys, I could just play with Distress Oxides. I feel like I could play all day. Oh, here it is. One time I saw Jane Davenport playing with paper towels in her studio, and she just keeps them on the roll. She doesn't take them off. Just keeps them on the roll, which I thought was funny and helpful. Okay, so you can kind of see the two different effects. You see how on this side with the drips, we're getting some more severe lines, especially right here, which I think are fun. And then we have this really soft look on this side, which is nice. Now, I wanted to layer some of the salvage patina over, and let's see how that's gonna change. Look at all of the speckles right there. And I'm just gonna kind of let that sit. Actually, I'm not. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to that just so it oxidizes a little more. And we're gonna move that one to the side. And we're gonna pull out some paper and play with paper. Okay, so I wanted to see, I had two different oranges here, and I kind of wanted to see how they did together. Okay, we'll add a little pink. Actually, I wish I went, aha, that was the pink I was wanting. Okay, that's the worn lipstick. Distress oxides, they get all over. They're fun, but look at how it's just changing right there, you guys. It's so cool. It's so fun. It's so cool. You can just spray all the things. And so maybe I'm gonna do those warm colors. I'm not seeing much of a difference. So the spice marmalade, I feel like it's lighter for sure. I'm definitely going for a softer feel right here. Look at how cool it is while it's drying, you guys. Look at how fun that change is. It's just effects you cannot get with other things. Sorry for the constant air noise. Okay, so then what I want to do is on this particular one, this is mostly dry, is I'm going to use the tumbled glass, kind of like I did the water before, and we're going to do some drips because I think that will look cool, and you can see how it's going to react with what's going on underneath. So you do start to get that green, but then up here, I bet I could come up top now and we can just go crazy with that blue. And then look how fun that looks with that layering and that green that starts to come out with the oxidation. That is so fun. Okay, we're gonna switch back now. Let me just move some of this stuff. I'm gonna move this to the side so it can dry. We're gonna come back here. Something else that I discovered I liked doing this week is doing the Distress Oxide spray and then coming back with clean water and a brush. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try it over on this side. Let me just do this. So I'm just gonna come this way. And I'm rinsing it off between each one. And I'm adding some extra patterns and texture. And if you just use water, you're gonna get that oxidation. And you're gonna get a really subtle pattern, which can be a lot of fun to kind of play with. Look how it changes right there. I like it. And then you can just practice something really subtle. Like, what if on an art journaling page you had this and you just used a water brush and hand lettered something in the background that was just real subtle. Alexa, stop. And came through in the background of a page, just as you're working on building layers. How fun would that be? Hello, hello. I'm seeing lots of people jump in. Okay, so yes, playing with patterns over here just with that paintbrush. Like super fun. And then if I wanted, let that kind of dry over here. Sorry, I'll wrap up soon. Oh, I didn't want it to move. I should probably have left that flat. That's okay. Okay, we'll let that. It's gonna run a little bit, but you see what I mean, how you can get the subtle pattern. And then say you want to come in with a bigger brush, this will be kind of a different feel. So if I want to come in to the background here, I'm going to end up with a totally different feel as it comes through this page. And look how it's changing the color. And you're ending up with some very cool effects just playing with the water on top of the Distress. So I've definitely done it where I've sprayed water through a stencil. You could just use a wet paper towel and lift some Distress Oxide after you've put it down. But for me, it's the watermarks that I just love, 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 love. and you can play and play. The more you layer, it will start to get muddy. You'll see a Bible journaling entry that comes out next week where I did it on a separate piece of paper. It ended up getting a little too muddy for my taste, but that's okay. It happens. But it's just so fun to build backgrounds, to play and see what you can come up with. And on a side note, it's still wet right here, but look how well my Archer and Olive journal is holding up. That's just wet. I don't really think that that's bleed through. I think that's stuff that's just wet, as opposed to this paper, which is not messing around. It's gonna go straight through. Just your basic white paper. I love it. I really love this business over here. So that is just another playtime with Distress Oxides. It is a supply that I've fallen in love with recently as I've gotten into some more art journaling. So I'm having a good time playing with it. So I just thought I would, take some time on Take 10. If you have any questions about Distress Oxides, make sure to let me know. I'd be happy to help you or to answer or to look it up for you. So just let me know. I have linked some Distress Oxide sprays in the description box. That's a link to scrapbook.com. So if you want to pick up a few, then you can check out that link and that would be awesome. Okay. I think that is it. I want to give a huge shout out to my Scrappy YouTube members. You see their names in green. They have already seen me playing with Distress Oxides this week because a lot of my videos coming out in the next couple weeks will definitely have some Distress Oxides. So if you are interested in becoming a Scrappy YouTube member, make sure to click the join button, or there is a link in the description box. I see one quick question. Yes, I think watercolor papers are going to absorb it faster, and so that's going to give you a different look as opposed to sitting on top of the paper a little bit more when you're using like a copy paper or a mixed media paper. So it'll definitely have a different feel on different kinds of paper. All right, I think that's it for me. I hope that you guys have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.